Hey guys, it's Byron back with your 9 to 5 wholesaler video. And in this video, man, I'm jacked up. I'm excited about this guy that I'm bringing on. Packs a bunch of energy, man. Jeff is gonna come on and give us that energy. He's gonna tell us how he got started, how you can get going wholesaling real estate. Tell us about his journey and how he got to where he is right now. So bring him right on in, man. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing, man?
What's happening? I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Good, man. So, where you at again?
So I'm physically located in the Dallas, Texas area.
Gotcha, man. So
Yeah.
you out there in the what are y'all, the Star State?
The Lone Star State, the friendly
Lone Star.
state, the best state, however you wanna put it out there. That's where
I
I'm.
hope you ain't no Dallas Cowboy fan.
Come on, man. We not even gonna start that discussion right now. You know what, man?
Dude. Oh my God. I hope you ain't no Dallas Cowboy fan.
Man, I'm indifferent, honestly. I'm not one of them die-hard Cowboy fans, but obviously I try to rock with them when I can. So
Yeah, my brother is suffering through that
yeah.
that same stuff.
Yeah, man. It sucks because I'm from Arkansas, so I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and we don't in Arkansas we don't have a professional team, so
Yeah.
we always go for the University of Arkansas Fayetteville, the Hogs, right?
Yeah.
So the way the Cowboys play is very similar to how the Hogs play. It's just, man, when they really want to play, they can beat the best team, but when they don't, man, it'll be a disappointment. So I just
Oh man, that's good stuff, man. But shoot, man, I'm excited to bring you on. Saw a lot of your content out there on social media, man. You bring a lot of energy. Hilarious. So, man, I'm excited about getting you on, see what you got going on, man.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No, I was good. I'm good. I was saying yes, sir. I agree with you.
Yeah, man. So, like, what got you into looking at real estate in general, and what got you looking toward wholesaling?
Man, so it's a funny story, and I'm trying to get my stuff set up over here too. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a funny story. So my wife actually hit me up one day. We were both we both had our 9 to 5s, right? And she was like, "Listen, we got a good income coming in, but we are obviously know that it's irresponsible to only have two streams of income from us when we know we need to be doing more." And so I was like, "Okay, well, I agree with you, but what do we do?" Like, I mean, that's a blanket statement, right?
Yeah.
So she was like, "Well, maybe we need to consider going into real estate." I was like, "All right, well, what do we need to do in real estate?" She was like, "I don't know, you figure it out." I said, "All right, cool." So, I did some research, man, just Googled real estate investing, went on YouTube, and one of the first videos that popped up was Jerry Norton. And I can't remember how many steps it was. It was some odd number. It was like 17 steps to wholesaling or something like that.
Yeah.
I watched the video. Now, here's the funny story about it. About a year before, I had a guy that I was working with that, he reported up to me, and it was the end of the day on a Friday, and I used to always mess around with him. And I said, "Man, why are you so disgruntled today, man? Like, today is payday. You get paid well." He was like, "Man, I'm not here for the paycheck. I'm here for the benefits." So I was like, "Well, what do you do?" He was like, "Man, I invest in real estate." And he kind of explained to me what he did. It was wholesaling, but I didn't know that then.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, okay, you a realtor?" He said, "No, I'm not a realtor." And in my mind, I was like, "Man, this dude doing something illegal. I don't even want to know no more." And it was full circle when I was doing the research, and I was like, "Man, this is what that guy was talking about." So that's kind of how my journey started, honestly.
Got you, man. So, yeah, man, that's funny you say that. Like the year before I started wholesaling, I ran into the wholesale guru. I ran into him. I had no clue who he was. I had no clue who this guy was, man. And he was trying to tell me about wholesaling. And I was like, "Man, this guy's scam, man. He don't know what he doing. He need to do something else." And I didn't even know he was the guru, man.
Hey man, that's Nizer, man. Hey,
Yeah.
you was speaking with a legend, and then
A
he knew.
legend. He was trying to teach me, and I was like, man, this guy garbage. He don't know what he's
Yeah.
talking about. Oh man, but
Yeah.
that's good stuff, man. So your wife want another income, or say y'all need another income, and you
Yep.
trying to figure it out. So you get on YouTube, you watch that video, and then what happened after that?
Man, so the first thing that I had to do, bro, is I had to go back and apologize to my guy.
Yeah.
Because I wrote him off, just like you wrote off Nizer, right? Ain't that
Yeah.
funny? How
Yeah.
people be trying to introduce us to something and our minds are so streamlined that we write it
Yeah.
off. So I seen the guy at work like probably that week or the next day or something. I can't remember. And when I seen him, I said, hey man, his name is Nicholas. I said,
Yeah.
hey Nicholas, man, first off, I want to apologize because you told me about something and I really wrote you off. I was like, man, can I get like an hour of your time for you to explain to me what it is that you do? And he was kind enough to do that, man. So
Yeah.
what he did, we hopped on the phone after work. He spent about an hour with me, told me the tools he was using, kind of the ABC to it. And man, I took action from that and just kind of fell forward from there.
Dang, that's what's up, man. So you kind of had a mentor from the beginning.
Yeah, I guess you could call him a mentor because I mean, it obviously during that first journey, especially probably like the first 60 to 90 days, I was like, hey man, I did this. What I do next? What do I do next? And he
Yeah.
definitely guided me through that.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I know a lot of people like they look for mentorship.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need it, but
Yeah.
if you get it, it kind of like leapfrogs you ahead to where you can figure a lot of stuff out. So, like, what was he showing you? Like, what did he tell you to do?
Yeah. So the first thing I can remember, if I could get maybe 3 or 4 things to be simple, the first thing he told me about. So here in Texas, I know a lot of people use PropStream, and I do as well because I wholesale outside of Texas, but Propelio is really big here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he told me I needed Propelio, and at the time I was able to use Propelio in my home market, which was Little Rock, Arkansas as well.
Yeah.
So he told me I needed that, told me I can pull data from there, run comps. He had introduced me to what's it called? The app where you can do the driving for dollars on it. I don't use it.
Deal machine.
Deal Machine. He introduced me to Deal Machine for driving for dollars. And he also had introduced me to a couple other outlets where I can pull lists from. He told me, man, he was like, listen, all you need to do is get some prospects. You need to skip trace them. You need to reach out to them. And that's what I started doing, man. I was crazy because I was calling from my personal phone, texting from my personal phone. Could have got hit up by the feds.
Yeah, this is hey. I remember like driving for dollars, calling people off my phone too. So yeah, man, we all don't know really what we doing, man. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But when was this? When was this?
Yeah, so when he first told me about it, or when I first started taking action?
When you first started doing something.
When I first started doing something was July of 2020 is when we got started in wholesale.
Yeah, man. That was about the same time I started. I started around like May. Like really started looking into it and getting going. But so you go and you take action, you start doing this stuff, and what was that journey like?
Yeah. So man, my personality type, the way I operate when I do something, I don't have to do it. So I like to always say that because I know everybody's journey looks different when they enter this. Some people, it take them a year to get their first deal. Some people, the first few calls they make, they may get a deal. For me, I locked in on the process. I literally did exactly what he told me to do. So I had got a Google Voice number. I started dialing, started texting. When that ran out, I started calling and texting from my personal line. I remember I got my first contract. It was July the 4th weekend. And the reason why I know that is because I was back home. Me and my wife, I was sitting at my mom's kitchen table and I was texting this guy. And I made him I was just sending my general text message. He responded back, well, what's your offer? I was like, oh crap. Like this is my first conversation that I actually went past. I'm not interested if you Don't
Yeah.
call me again. You a scumbag. So this is the first step, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I just went on Zillow and just cut the Zestimate in half. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
So I made him an offer. I feel like it was like 18,000 or something like that. He
Dang.
was like, "Nah, I can't do 18, but I can do." I think he was like 15. I was like, "All right, well, how about this? Can you do 12.5?" And I think we ended up meeting at like 13,000. So, man, I was using Flipman's contract at the time. Didn't
Yeah.
have DocuSign, didn't have nothing. This guy, the house was in Little Rock, so I was physically located in Little Rock. So at the time, because I was visiting my mom, and so I
Yeah.
was gonna meet up with him, get the contract signed, but he actually lived in Memphis, so he
Ooh.
wasn't in the area. So I was like, okay, well, what do I gotta do? Man, I had my wife, because her handwriting is better than mine, write the contract out, right? I had missed something on it. Well, I signed it, and I accidentally signed under the seller part instead of the buyer.
Oh.
So my wife had to write it again. So she's frustrated at this point. I
Yeah.
literally take a picture of it, text it to them, tell them to print it
Oh.
off. It's like, bro, it was crazy,
Oh.
man. So I told them to print it off. They signed it, and then they took a picture of it and sent it back to me.
No,
And
that's
so,
crazy,
man,
man.
it was crazy. So ended up getting in the property. I had to have my mom do it because we left and they weren't able to coordinate me getting in there that weekend. So we got in there, got the pictures. I started displaying. Obviously, I had no buyers.
Yeah.
So the first place I did was I went into the RIA group. That was another thing that Nick had told me to do. Hey, get in your RIA group, put your deals out there. That's how you're able to
Well,
organically.
what is the real group for people like,
Yeah.
what is a real group?
Yeah, so real estate, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, real estate investing association, something
Or
like that.
something like that.
Yeah, it's something
Just
like that. But
what it is. I don't know.
right, but if you type in, like, let's say you're in Dallas, if you type in REIDFW, something like that, you will find a group, and that's where a lot of investors hang out. So, you got buyers in there, you got wholesalers, you got realtors, you got everybody in there. And what people do is they go in there, post a few details of the deal. Do not put the full address. Maybe put the street, the city, the state, and the zip code, something like that. And then put some details and some pictures, and people will start dropping their email, and you can send them the full details if you feel they're a legitimate buyer.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Got you. So this real group, they had like an online page.
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Okay. So usually real groups like meet in person. These are like most of the time ran by some big time agent or sometimes big time broker.
Yeah.
But they have like all kind of people that's related to real estate in there,
Yeah.
And that's a good place to go to find cash buyers too. So
Yes, sir.
But so you posted there, and you said that you got under contract for how much?
I can't remember exactly. It was around 13,000. What I
So
got
got it around 13,000. You said how much you think the ARV was?
Man,
How much was Zillow, you think?
Yeah, looking back on it, and my numbers may be all messed up. I feel like completely fixed up that house was probably worth somewhere around 50,000. I cut the Zestimate in half and took a little bit off. I can't remember what I offered, but we ended up settling somewhere around that 13K mark.
Gotcha. So you put it out there for how much?
So when I got the pictures, packaged it up, was feeling real good about it. I put it out there at 35,000.
Woo! You thought you had hit something,
man.
boy.
I was like, man, I'm about to hit a lick, man. I'm about to get paid. I'm already counting. I'm like, man, that's 10, 20. I'm like, man, I see how people be getting these $25,000 checks. Man, I put that thing out there. I had folks like they was calling me everything but a child of God. They was like, man, are you crazy? Are you on drugs? Like, what are you thinking? That area, like, I'm not even sure that I can fix it up and get that much. Those type of responses. But I did end up going back and pulling the price down to a more reasonable price. I think after I got all the feedback, I think I had started asking about 20K for it.
Gotcha.
When I asked 20K, I had a buyer. This is actually one of my VIP buyers now. But the buyer, the buyer had reached out and they told me I think they told me they can offer 12 for it.
Yeah.
And obviously I couldn't do 12 because I had it at like 13, right?
Yeah.
So it was a good learning lesson for me there, because what happened from the time they told me they can do 12 until when I heard back from them, it was about 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, me rushing the process, I'm trying to go back to the seller, see if I
And
can
talking down.
renegotiate. Then I'm
Yeah.
trying to negotiate with them. The seller's not really willing to go down, so I'm trying to get them up. I ended up canceling the contract.
Ooh.
Yeah, I canceled the contract. Get this. The buyer reached out to me probably like a day or so after I canceled. And I think I had countered them. They were like at 12. I think I countered them at like 14.5, something like that. It was gonna be like $1,500 I was gonna make. And I was like, man, I don't have a contract anymore. Like, y'all went ghost on me. We was negotiating and I hadn't heard for y'all in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And so that was a learning lesson for me right there.
Yeah. So do you end up going back and getting the contract? What happens?
So when I went back and pursued the seller to try to get the contract back, they was like, you know what? We actually got another guy that's saying that he can do 15. We gonna see how that go. So I lost the opportunity, right? And then I even followed up after that. And after they gave that guy a try who wasn't able to move it for over that amount, they said they were just gonna hold on to it.
Oh man, dang, I know that was kind of crusher right there, man.
It did, but I learned a lot, bro. I learned a lot from that. And that was, I mean, this is probably like the first week or two of me taking action when all of this is happening.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing my first deal the day after Labor Day. So it took us about 2 months to get our first deal. And my first deal was actually in Little Rock, Arkansas. Learned a whole lot from that one too.
Gotcha. So what did you kept texting? You kept calling people?
I did. I kept.
What were you using? So what were you using to get your list? Like, how were you getting these properties?
Yeah, so I was pulling all my lists all my records at the time from Propelio, honestly.
So Propelio, pulling your list.
Yeah.
And then you would take that list and do what with it?
Skip trace it. I was using batch skip tracing.
So you would skip trace it with batch, and skip tracing, you just doing like what? Tell people what like skip tracing do.
Yeah, so what skip tracing does is it pairs public records with property addresses, and it just spits out all these different numbers that have been or may be associated with that particular property.
Gotcha. So you getting phone numbers for people who own these properties that you got a list of, and then once you skip trace with batch leads, then you put it where were you going from there?
So I think I had by that time I had went ahead and got a texting platform. I was skipping with batch skip tracing, and I was also using them for texting. So I was cold calling through Google Voice, and I was texting through batch skip tracing. Actually, batch leads. My first 3 or 4 deals actually came from text messaging.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were texting with batch.
Yeah.
And you were skip tracing with batch.
Yes, right.
Gotcha. And you were just cold calling them with Google. That's smart. Like Google Voice is free.
Yeah, like that's what I thought.
Skip tracing and texting people, you might as well use Google Voice to call those numbers. I'm like, dude, I'm about to, have my VAs calling some people on Google Voice, a little bit.
Yeah.
But so you got that going. How many people you think you texting and calling like a week?
Yeah. Man, if I had to guess, at that point, I probably was reaching out, texting maybe about 200 people a day.
Oh, okay. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, and trying to call. I mean, I'm hand dialing, so I'm not able to just do numbers. But I think my goal was to try to hand dial at least 50 people a day or something like that.
That's a lot, man.
It is.
Hand dialing.
It is.
So you're doing that every day. You staying consistent, and you run into something. What do you run into for this first deal?
Yeah, so for my first deal, I had a guy that texts back from I can't remember what the initial text was. Probably was something like, "Hey, are you the owner of 123 Main Street? Blah blah blah." They responded back, "Yes." "Hey, are you interested in a cash offer on it?" He responded back, 28,500 firm. That was his text response. And
Yeah.
so I put the property in Zillow, and I seen that the Zestimate was like, I think it was maybe like 87,000, close to 90,000.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, now this might
Ooh.
be a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm like, this right here is a deal. I could tell, and I don't even really know the business. So I'm like, I got excited about it. So what I immediately did was I tried to call the guy like within 5 minutes after I found that out. He
Yeah.
texted me back and he said, can't talk right now. Call me at 10 o'clock or something like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I ended up calling him and speaking with him and told him, you know, I tried to negotiate him down a little bit, but he was firm at that number.
Yeah.
So we ended up agreeing to the 28.5. He didn't have, and by this time I had got DocuSign as well because I realized that was something that I needed.
Yeah.
He didn't have DocuSign though, or have like an email or anything for me to be able to send it to.
Yeah.
So my mom was my property specialist. She would go to all the properties for me, take pictures, do appointments. Like she was clutch.
Dang, that's what's up.
Yeah. So I ended up sending it over to her, have her to take the agreement to him because this was in Little Rock, by the way.
Yeah.
So she gets them to sign, she gets the pictures and everything from it. We start dispoing it. This time I'm a little bit more knowledgeable in regard to how to dispo a property and not how to be greedy. So I think I put this one out. I think I put it out at 35,000. I think that's what I ended up putting it out of. I'm like, let me just, you know, get a little something. I think we locked it up for 27.5 because once I do, I think we ended up walking away with like $7,000 at closing. But anyways, we're putting it out at 35. We're getting a few hits. I have a buyer that is actually located in Israel.
Oh, dang.
That reaches out and she's like, I'm interested in the property. So I'm like, this is a scam.
No.
People overseas investing in real estate, and I'm like, you definitely not looking at Little Rock, Arkansas. Like, what? So I spoke with my wife about it, and I'm like, baby, this person is saying they're interested and they want me to send them an agreement and all this, but I just feel like it's a scam. My wife and I almost talked ourselves out of it.
Yeah.
We literally, I told her, I said, listen, before I send you an agreement, I gotta speak with you over the phone. Like, we can't do this via email.
Yeah.
So I ended up speaking with her. I prayed on it. We connected. I said, you know what? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
So I ended up assigning the deal over to her. I think they wanted like a week inspection or something like that. I gave her like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So they inspected it. We had agreed to me covering the seller's closing costs, and they cover their closing costs. So that first deal ended up being like $7,200 for a wholesale fee.
Dang, that's what's up, man. Hey, $7,200, man. How did that thing feel? Like, you didn't have to go to closing. So what'd you get? A check or a wire? What'd you get?
A wire. And so this is what's happening. So I told you it closed the day after Labor Day. Yeah. So I'm calling the title company like at 7:59 in the morning because like I need them to send me my money because it was funded before, right? And they're like, hey, we'll send it. It's gonna take a little bit. I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. So I'm in my office, literally pacing back and forth, super nervous about getting it. It finally hit my account, and the first thought that came to my mind, I'm like, man, somebody is gonna ask for this money back because there's no way that paid $7,200, and I've never seen that house before. Yeah. No way. And so that was my thoughts.
That's crazy, man. So at that point, you were still in Dallas.
Yeah, I still
in Dallas, and you wholesaled the deal in Little Rock, Arkansas.
That's right.
Man, $7,200. Now, what you thinking now? What you thinking you about to do now?
Hey, man, it's up. It's up now. So that was the day after. By that time, though, I had gotten a couple other properties under contract. So I had got another one here in Dallas under contract.
Yeah.
And I had got maybe before it closed, maybe 3 under contract. One ended up falling through. One was in Fort Worth. That fell through. Yeah. The one that was in Dallas, I actually was able to get it assigned as well. But I assigned that one maybe like I think maybe like probably right before we closed on that one because I was also waiting on that check too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get these deals, you getting it going. So
Yeah.
what do you begin to do with the money that's coming in?
Yeah, the first thing that I did once I closed on that first deal was hire a VA. That was the
Yeah,
first move I made because I realized that I didn't have the time to cold call like that. You know,
yeah,
I had a demanding job that didn't really allow me to do that. I'm cold calling, 5 to 8 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, trying to hand out like it wasn't doing it right.
yeah,
So I went and hired a VA. I doubled down on my marketing spend. So I bought some more records, things like that. Bought an LLC because I didn't have an LLC at first.
yeah. So you got a LLC. You was contacting like 200 people a month, and
Mm.
you up that, right? But you still sticking with batch leads for texting, and you still using Google Voice for calling, or you?
Once I hired my first VA, I started using Mojo
Oh,
Dollar.
okay.
Yeah,
Mojo Dollar, and that's like a power dialer where the software is basically dialing for you.
that's
You
right.
just upload the list in there.
That's right.
Yeah. So, bam, you got that going. Like, what begins to happen at that? Where do your business head after that? Like, what do you
Yeah,
begin to do? Like, what kind of volume you doing now?
right. So we had just closed on that one. I had one that we were waiting to close on that was here in Dallas. And then we started getting contracts.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, we probably were getting like maybe one contract a week or something at
Yeah.
that point. And so
That's
like
crazy.
that was a
That's
good volume
crazy.
for me. And
Shoot, yeah.
so yeah, I mean, and a lot of my business outside of that deal that we had already had in escrow for Dallas, a lot of it was coming out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Dang.
So
Wholesaling in Little Rock.
yeah, man. Hey, that's my city right there. We got
Man.
we got one closing in Little Rock tomorrow. It's just yeah, Little Rock is my city.
Little Rock.
Yeah. So I mean things started picking up. My VA, I started spending a lot of time with her because I did realize that first off there was a language barrier. I
Yeah.
understood that a VA will never be as effective as you are on the phones. That's never gonna happen. But my intent was to try to get her up as much as possible
Yeah.
for her to be able to add some value. And I mean, within about a month, she had got us a contract that ended up becoming a deal. I think we closed on that one like in November or something like that. So it went pretty well, man.
Yeah. So you got the VA, she working, it's going well. Where are you at now? Like how many VAs do you have? Are you still using the same kind of system? You still pulling the same list from the same place? You still texting with batch? What does your system look like now?
Today,
Yeah, today.
yeah. So no, we don't use batch to text anymore. We use launch control.
Yeah.
We don't use Mojo Dialer. We kind of scaled out of that. We use a batch dialer.
Oh, okay.
Today, I actually just fired a VA yesterday.
Yeah.
But we got 4 cold callers,
Dang.
one person texting for us,
Yeah.
one admin VA, one follow-up specialist or lead manager, as a lot of people
Dang.
like to call them, and then one closer. These
Gotcha.
are these are all virtual people. One of them is located in Cairo, Egypt, and the others are located in the Philippines.
Dang. So how many total do you have?
8.
Dang. Shoot. I usually keep four.
Okay.
Usually keep four, but eight. God
Yeah.
dang, man. You running whew, that's an operation right there, man.
Yeah,
So
it is an
are
operation
those
room.
the only people that really work for you right there? Just VA?
Yeah.
Like you don't have any Americans?
No, I don't have any Americans at this
Gotcha.
point. Mm.
Gotcha. So like what kind of volume are y'all doing? How many people y'all calling and how many people y'all contacting every month or whatever?
Man, we contact a lot of people. Let me pull up my
Yeah, I
metrics
bet
real
with
quick.
8 people.
Let me see what we did last month. So this is August. So last month, we contacted a total of 33,102 people.
Sheesh. So you contacted 32,000 and mainly, well, you calling in, texting all of them. So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
calling.
actually, I'm sorry that was wrong. We contacted 238,176.
Woo, that's stupid, man. So
Yeah.
and all these people in like Little Rock, Arkansas, or are they in other places?
No, we're in multiple markets now. So
How many markets are you in? Like, where are you at now?
so we're in Little Rock, Arkansas. We're in Dallas, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, Birmingham, and Montgomery, Alabama,
Dang.
in the Triad area of North Carolina, and Charlotte.
Dang. So you
Yeah,
all over the place. You
yeah,
just
man.
pulling all over the place.
Yeah, we're trying to take over this little southeast part of the United States. That's my goal.
So you contacting all these people. Now, all these people, like, how many of these people are you getting actually to close? Like,
Yeah,
you contact two, but they contacted 230 some people a month. Like, how many people are you actually getting to the closing table?
we're averaging about 7 to 9 deals a month.
That's a killer right there, dude. And on average, what do you like to average on a deal? Like,
Man, our average deal
yeah.
spread right now is like 8,200.
Oh, dang,
Yeah,
shoot, that ain't bad right there, man. I
yeah.
know a lot of people, say that they don't want to do a deal if it ain't this much or that much or
Hey,
whatever.
listen to me. That's bull crap. Hey, anytime you can make revenue and it makes sense,
So
you
you
gotta
gotta take
close. You gotta take that. Man, I have closed on the deal for $1,000 to gain a relationship with a buyer that I went on and did 10 plus deals with since I've
that.
done that.
I think that's
You know?
good, man. I
So
think that's
yeah,
good. It's
yeah,
all about relationships, man. I
that's
always
right.
talk about that. Like, you gotta build relationships with people. So you doing, and this is mainly, I would guess it'd be mainly through like calling people, right?
No, so we call, we text. I mean, it's a mixture of both.
So you think like it's just a mix of all of it that's
Yeah,
really, yeah.
and we also do Facebook ads now as well. So
Oh, dang, how that going?
that's going really good, man. Because the conversation looks different, right? Because these
Because
sellers
they
are
reaching
reaching
out
out
to
to
you.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ain't no, hey, I know we reached out to you. What's got you interested in selling? It's a, hey, you reached out to us. How can we help? That's a different kind of conversation.
Gotcha. And how you getting these VAs?
So primarily I have a few sources. Virtual staff.ph. That's where I've hired and fired way more than I hired. So I ran through some VAs, but we use
Yeah,
virtual
we
staff.
all have, man.
Yeah. Uh, onlinejobs.ph is another.
That's the one I use.
Yeah. I use the Reva group on Facebook, Real Estate Virtual Assistants.
Yeah.
And then I've used a couple agencies. My boy Eric Bryant runs an agency, and then Ashley Johnson has an agency out there for anybody who's interested. Just
Yeah.
just DM me and I can put you in contact with them. But yeah, Antoine Campbell, I've gotten a couple from him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Where do you think you've gotten like the best VAs?
man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they're all the same.
Yeah.
The
Just hit a miss.
difference is the amount of time you spend.
I think that's
You
right, man.
you can't, if a person is looking to hire a VA and say, all right, I want that, hire that VA, throw them this script, throw them this data, let them give me some leads, you're gonna have a very mediocre VA.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hire these people, you got to be willing to spend time with them on a daily to get them to where you need them to be.
Yeah, I think that's so true, man. I see my best VAs as the ones I spent the most time with.
That's right.
And they kind of become you. They
That's right.
kind of, mock what you do. They just copy you all the
Mhm.
way. So, and it creates a sense of loyalty. They
right.
definitely get attached and
Mhm.
feel loyal, and they'll do whatever for you and they'll protect your business. So,
Yeah.
but that's awesome, man. So you
Yeah.
crushing it, man, doing basically almost 10 deals a month
Yeah.
and contacting over 200,000 people a month. That is just stupid, man.
Honestly, bro, a lot of that's a big contrast from where I first started, where I was saying we would get like one contract a week to where
Yeah.
we are today. And I think what's so important for people to know to be able to get wherever you got to go, you got to know how to reverse engineer the numbers.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I want to make a certain amount of money a month, there are metrics that go into that. One of the metrics that are important, let's say that I say I want to make $100,000 a month. In order to know how many calls and everything you need to make, you got to know what your average deal spread is.
Yeah.
So if my average deal spread is 10K, then that lets me know that in order to get 100,000, I need to close 10 deals, right? Well,
Yeah.
that's not how it works. If you contract 10 properties, you're not going to close on all 10. It doesn't work that way. Industry standard, about 50% of the contracts that you get will make it to closing for various reasons. So you already got to account for it. If I want to do $100,000 and I got $10,000 spread, I need to get 20 contracts that month.
Yeah.
Well, the next metric that you got to think of is, well, how many offers do I have to make to get 20? Because everybody you make an offer to isn't going to close.
Yep.
You know, how many conversations do I need to have to get to offers? How many leads do I need to have? So once you start breaking that down, it becomes a science in regard to what you need to do.
And all after that, it's just a numbers game, man. It's like
all
how many people can you reach out to? Like I'll tell people, it's like the difference between you and other people that's not doing as much as you, and you and people who are doing more than you.
Yeah,
it's just the amount of people that you're reaching out to.
That's
you
it,
gotta
bro.
reach out to more people. You know, you ain't getting deals. So
that's it.
That is crazy, man. So, man, I'm finna go ahead and ask you some closing questions, man. Get you out of here. Don't waste too much of your time, man. But so like once you made all this money, what's one thing that you bought that you wouldn't have bought before?
You talking about like that I spent some money on?
Yeah, because mentally, like it really changes your mind. Like
it does.
It's like that's not that much money anymore. It's like, so what's something that you bought that you like you wouldn't have bought that before?
Man, so my sister-in-law got married last July the 30th.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to be fly, right? Like I had to be fly. So I went into Express and I purchased a suit that was like $600. And then I went and got the suit tailored because it couldn't hit. It couldn't touch the shoes, man. It needed to come up on the ankle bone. So I had to get it raised. That was like another $80. So like all in, I probably ended up spending like $700 for that suit. I never would have done anything like that if it wasn't for me being able to what wholesaling has done for my life. So
I'm telling you, man, trust me, when I was teaching, I walk into Express, but I'm walking out empty-handed.
Yeah. That's facts right there.
Or with a little shirt or something, man. You know, that's on clearance or something. Yeah. But that's awesome, man. The next question is what's one business book that you read that was very impactful?
Never Split the Difference.
Yeah.
Never Split the Difference was a amazing book. I feel like here's when people ask me about books, I always say just read.
Yeah, you're gonna run into it, man.
You're gonna run into something because oftentimes, like where we come from, we don't have entrepreneurs that have done what we did. We having to figure this stuff out in real time. So if you want to expedite it, just like you said, getting a coach, man, you got to get some knowledge from some people that's running multi-billion-dollar companies. To get there. So man, just pick up any book. It don't matter what it is, and read it, and it'll add value.
Yeah, man. Yep. So that's definitely true, man. What's one real estate book that you would recommend people to read?
Man, you know, I'm not the biggest, like I like to listen to Audible. I don't have a specific book that really comes to my mind that has like impacted me real estate wise.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that I listen to really is like mindset and just, you know, how to advance monetarily or mentally or emotionally. That's honestly what I focus on.
And man, I know as a beginner, I remember when I was first getting started, all
Yeah.
these people talking about mindset,
Yeah.
especially like Max Bags. I'm like, why is this man talking about
Yeah.
man, stop talking about that and tell me how to actually get money.
That's
Stop
yes, sir.
telling me about that mindset stuff. I don't hear none of that. They ain't putting
Yeah.
nothing in my pocket.
Yeah.
But in reality, man, like once you get there, you understand it's like it is mindset.
It is.
Because like you know that like mentally, because like even me right now, it's like I remember somebody telling me, hey, it's $5,000 to buy Keith Everett course. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. But I had to get over that mental block and do it. And that's what led me to the crazy growth that I experienced. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's mental blocks that you go through and you have to get through that in order to reach the level that you want to reach. You can't think like you think and make it to the next level.
Yeah, you can't. I always tell people that your perspective is your reality. Not that your perspective is the reality. The way you look at your life is going to be what you experience. Yep. You got to. And if I talked about a mindset book that has impacted me a lot, I would say Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was a really good book.
A lot of people call that a real estate book too. But it's a mindset book. It changes the way you look at stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I did a little thing where I called everybody in my family, asked them did they read Rich Dad Poor Dad before.
Yeah.
You should try it. You'd be surprised, dude. I don't know about your people, but I'm from, my people. Hey, I ain't got one person who said
same here. Same here. We in the same
every brother and sister. I got 9. I call every brother and sister. I call every niece and nephew. Nobody. It's crazy, man. So yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a good one. So second to the last question, man. What do you think is the difference between people who are successful in wholesaling real estate than those who fail, give up, or never get started?
Man, 2 things. Consistency and discipline. All right. By consistency, what I'm saying is if you do this business consistently, it is impossible for you not to get a deal. Consistent looks different for everybody because everybody doesn't have the bandwidth, but if you are consistently marketing, you're gonna get contracts. If you consistently get contracts, something's gonna close. Not everything. You might not even be at the 50% that we talked about. You might be at 20 starting out, but something's gonna close.
Yeah, but 20% could be a woo
changer, right? So consistency. The second thing is discipline. Discipline says that I am gonna do what I'm supposed to do, not for a result, but because I understand that in order for me to accomplish my goals, this is what needs to be done. So I'm not gonna call until I get a contract. I'm not gonna call until I get a yes. I'm gonna call this many people every day because that is what I put the goal out there for myself. Consistency and dedication.
That's crazy, man. That's good stuff. So last real question, man. Now that you've been successful, you reached this point, like what's one life goal, what's one purpose or life goal thing that you wanted to do after you reached this point and got to, and kind of got control of your time and all that stuff? What's one life goal or something that you want to do to have like impact?
Yeah. So I fired my 9 to 5 August the 27th of 2021. So I've been doing this full time for a little over a year now.
Dang, that's
but in my career in corporate America and even going back to college, I've always been in a leadership space. I enjoy leading people. So once I got to a point of where I felt like I had got a handle on how to run a wholesale business, my next goal was to be able to lead a coaching group that helps empower people and help them not make as many mistakes as I had to make. Yeah. And so I've started that. The Dropout Institute is my coaching program. And we got people in there that hadn't done a deal yet. We got people in there that are doing deals sporadically, and we got people in there that's running it up.
Yeah.
Right? That was my goal, and I'm actually living that right now. And it's not even about getting knowledge from me. It's about everybody who is a part of that and us all holding each other accountable and sharing wealth and mindset amongst each other.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I kind of have that same feeling of just wanting to help people experience the same thing I did. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I was a teacher for 12 years, and it's like, shoot, I thought I had made it. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? I thought this was it. Like I thought woo, I'm
yeah,
doing good, man. I'm about to, whoo, man, I got me a good job. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? From where I'm from, like, dude, I made it.
yeah,
But it's just that, hey, I want people to see that you can be a regular joker. You ain't even got to be that great of a regular joker, and you can really change your situation, change your family situation, all that. So that's kind of the idea that I got of just wanting to help people that may not think that they just average. They think that
yeah.
they regular, but you can be average, but you can do some more than average things. So
That's a bar right there. I agree with that
yeah.
110%.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So what can people like connect with you? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so probably the best way to get me is on Instagram. I put my handle there is at Jeff Buys Houses 1906. On Facebook, Jeff Trimble, last name Trimble. You should be able to reach me on one of those mediums.
Man, I appreciate you coming through, Jeff, man. This been a real good one, man. I know the
Yeah,
people enjoyed it. They all over it. So, man, I appreciate you coming through. You a
yeah,
real good brother, man.
I appreciate that, man. Likewise.
Yeah, man. Little Rock, freaking Arkansas. Holy
Hey,
smokes, man.
hey, hey, I put on for my city, man. Come on.
Hey, man, hey, that's crazy stuff. But hey, good luck with those Dallas Cowboys this year, man. Appreciate you coming through, and appreciate everybody watching, man. So
Yes,
peace
sir.
out.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.